Welcome. I'm now going to demonstrate how to configure Enrollment Web Services in the Oracle PeopleSoft Campus Solutions environment so that it can be used by a third party, in this case, Visual Schedule Builder in particular. So first I'm going to log in as an administrator into the PIA. Next, I'm going to go to the Visual Schedule Builder configuration check tool. I only have one configuration, so when I click search, it will find it. There we have it, the configuration for PSUNV institution. I'm going to check for errors. Now, at an institution that's never been set up with Enrollment Web Services before, this page will count a large number of errors because things are not turned on and enabled and stuff like that. So I'm going to scroll down and find our first issue. First, we have a warning about the system not using a secure web service, though it's non-production. So this is a test environment, so it's just showing as a warning. We can actually ignore this for now. Visual Schedule Builder will always use the secure endpoint unless specifically configured not to. Our next error is that our REST non-secure target location and secure target location, neither of these are set. In most environments this would already be set, but I'll show you how to set it anyway. So to avoid having to close down this configuration check tool, I'm actually going to open another window so that we can do things in front of the configuration check tool. That way, as we finish things, we can kind of rerun the check tool to eliminate all the items. Okay, let's go to, we needed to change the URL here. So it says REST non-secure target location is not set. So these target locations for the web services are located under People Tools, and then Integration Broker, Configuration, and Service Configuration. Under the Service Configuration tab, you see you have a Setup Target Locations link, and in this case they're actually completely blank. Like I said, most institutions would already have this set up as expected. Let me just type them in here. For the secure target, of course it's HTTPS, which uses SSL. So this is for the SOAP-based target locations, and then we have for the REST locations. Okay, just review that they appear correct. Let's click OK. And we see that they are there. So now if we go back to our configuration check tool and click the check for errors button again, we should have the same number of errors. That is odd. Oh, we need to click save here. There we go, let's try this again. Check for errors. Now we went from 53 to 51. Very good. Okay, let's find out the next error. So here, for the service operations under this service, SCC constituent R, we have one which has no any to local routing. So what we're going to do is copy this service operation and open this page here. So People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup. People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Service Operations, and search for this service. I'll paste it in here. Oops. Actually, search for the service operation. Search here. Okay, so this service operation, it said, has no any to local routing. So right here, any to local does not exist. What we'll do is generate any to local. So we'll select that option here, and then we'll click Save. Service operation saved. Now, if we scroll up, the any to local routing, it says it exists. So let's refresh this page to see if we've eliminated that error. Yes, we've gone from 51 to 50. I'll keep proceeding here because there are a few different types of errors that would be familiar. It's good to be familiar with. So next we have this service operation, which is not active. So we'll go back to here and we'll search for another service operation, paste it in, search. It says it's not active. We need to click this active button here to make the service operation active and click Save. We have a few other errors here. Let's see, the service operation here, request handler is inactive. So in this case it's the request handler. So let's check out that service operation. Go to the handlers. We see that its request handler is inactive. We can set this to active and save. In this case, the service operation, its any to local routing is inactive. So let's load in that service operation. So the any to local routing exists, but if we go to the routings here, we'll see that its status is inactive. So let's select this and activate the selected routing and then save. So that should eliminate these three errors here. Let's click the check for errors button again. Down to 47, very good. Next we have some list of values which are not enabled as expected. So to go to the list of values page, we follow this navigation here. So setup SACR, system administration, utilities, list of values. Now we're looking for the LOV context here of enroll request detail. Sorry, let's look for the record. Yes, this is the one. Okay, so it's actually the default LOV context, and the record is enroll request detail. It's not enabled for web services, so we need to select this option here to enable this for web services, and click Save. Next, there are specific items under enroll request detail that are not enabled for web services. So you see this is number 1 of 4, relate class number 1. So we enabled this one. We also need to enable class number 2. Let's save this. And we'll go back here and see if we have eliminated the first 2 or 3 of those. 47, so we've... Okay, so we solved it for the different records, but not specifically the context. Academic program. Let's search. This one, okay. This one we need... it's not enabled for web services still, so let's save this again. And that should solve this error here. Very good. Now the rest of these items here are things that we should have already covered. So not active, a handler not active, and a routing inactive. Those should already be covered. all these errors are just very similar. So instead of taking up your time showing you all of these, I'm just going to zoom ahead here and we'll see where we get. So just to show how this is going, is that first I take the name and I go to the service operations, paste in the service operation, click on the service operation here, and there are typically three things. So it's not active, so we can activate it right here. And the request handler is not active, so we change this to active. And then lastly, the any to local routing is inactive, so we go to the routings, click this, activate it, save, and we're done for those three. So then we can proceed to the next. After you have done a couple of these and clicked the check for errors, you may run into this. So service operation, the on-request handler does not reference the expected application class. To correct this, follow the navigation here. So we go to Setup SACR, System Administration, Integrations, Request Handlers, and let's copy paste this service operation here. In this case, it's pointing to the wrong application class. So this shopping cart handler should actually be the shopping cart handler REST. So we'll change this, then we'll save it. That's how to solve these types of errors. So at a certain point you may come to just one error left, and one we haven't covered yet is the shopping cart type course does not exist. So as the others, we can follow the navigation here. So setup SACR, System Administration, Utilities, Shopping Cart, Shopping Cart, and we see we have no matching values. But what we can do is create a shopping cart type of course. Click Add. For the entity ID, we need to use the one indicated here. So it starts with SCC entity actually, let's try this. Course shopping cart. Entity name. Yes. There we go. Now we have the appropriate entity ID, and we can save this. Now let's see if all of our errors are gone. Very good. Okay, so now this system should be ready for VSB to connect to.